Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Voices of the Soul. We are going deep today uh, on a topic that I think is really going to resonate with a lot of you guys,
Oh,
the
definitely.
American Dream. So
Mhm.
what we did is we found this really interesting Reddit post, and it sparked all these comments, and we thought it would be perfect
Yeah,
for a deep dive.
absolutely. It's
And
such a timely conversation, too.
yeah, so let's just jump right into it. Okay, so the basic premise of this post, and what really caught our attention, is this idea
Yeah,
that the American dream is not dead,
right.
but it's basically become like
Like a subscription
a
service.
subscription service.
Yeah.
And the OP lays it out so well, like talking about how, our parents or grandparents,
Right.
they bought a house, they bought a car,
Owned things.
they owned it.
Yeah.
And now it's like you're just constantly paying and
So
paying.
like you're renting your life.
And you never actually own anything.
Right.
And they use the example of housing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're just renting forever.
Yeah. It's crazy how unattainable home ownership feels for so many people now.
Right. I mean, look at rent these days. It's like,
Oh, tell me about
just
it.
have a roof over your head.
Exactly. It's like a huge chunk of your income just gone.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, if you're doing that, then how are you saving up
Is there
for
anything else?
anything else?
Right. Like, how are you supposed to get half?
And then they talked about transportation too.
Yeah, that's another big one.
It's like you're always making car payments.
Yeah, you're stuck in this cycle of car payments.
And then they even brought up education.
Oh, yeah. The student loan debt is just crippling for so many people. It's like you're paying for your education for years and years.
And it's like you're almost being punished for like trying to better yourself.
Right.
It's wild.
It really makes you question the whole system.
And the thing is, it's not just like the financial burden. It's also this,
This mindset,
yeah, like this feeling
like this feeling of being trapped.
of being trapped.
Yes. Yeah. And like you said earlier, it's in every aspect of our lives, like
It is.
even down to our leisure time,
Yeah.
like streaming services and gym memberships and all these subscriptions.
It's like everything is a subscription now.
And what's even more interesting is how it ties into this idea of manufactured problems that one commenter brought up.
Oh, yeah, that shitification.
Yes, that one really stuck with me.
It's such a stark word, but it also
It gets the point across.
it totally does.
It's like we're constantly being told that we have these problems.
And then we need to buy the solution.
Yeah,
And it all just seems so,
calculated.
calculated. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're creating the problem and then selling us the cure.
Exactly, and they're profiting off of it.
And the example that they used, like those grounding mats,
Oh my gosh, yes. The grounding mats.
like, come on.
Like we've become so disconnected from nature that we need to buy a mat to simulate walking barefoot.
It's wild.
It's like a perfect example of this whole subscription service mentality.
And it's not even just the grounding mats.
Everything.
It's everything. Like you said, even down to like our hobbies and free time.
Yeah, it's like they've figured out how to monetize every aspect of our lives.
Okay, so that's kind of like the depressing part. But the post did end on this very powerful note.
Right.
They said the American dream hasn't died. It's been paywalled.
Boom.
And that's when it really hit me.
Yeah.
Like, what does that actually mean? What are the implications?
Like, what does it mean for future generations?
Right. Can you even achieve the American dream if you're constantly...
Drowning in debt.
Yes, drowning in debt just to, like, exist,
Right. And like you said before, it's not just about the money. It's about this feeling of,
of being stuck.
yeah, like you're on this treadmill and you can't get off.
And then there was this other phrase that kept popping up in the comments that I found really unsettling.
Oh, yeah.
This idea that you will own nothing and be happy.
Yeah. That one's a bit dystopian, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
It's like a glimpse into a future where we're all just renters.
And it's like, are we headed towards that? Like, is that...
I mean, it's hard to say,
Yeah.
but it definitely makes you think.
It does. And it brings up all these questions about, like, autonomy and control.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does it mean to truly own something?
Right. And what happens when that's taken away?
Or if it's never even an option in the first place.
Right.
It's heavy stuff, but it's important to talk about.
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting is that not everyone in the thread was buying into this whole doom and gloom scenario.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some people were saying that the American dream has always been.
Elusive.
Yeah, especially for marginalized communities.
That's a good point.
And others were saying that it's still achievable, but it just takes a different kind of hustle now.
Like, what do you mean?
Like instead of the traditional 9 to 5 job, it's more about
Side hustles and entrepreneurship.
exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there are definitely different perspectives on this.
And I think that's what makes this conversation so fascinating.
Right, it's not a simple black and white issue.
It's complex.
It's a nuance and it means something different to everyone.
Yeah, and, even with all these differing views, there was one thing that kept coming up over and over again.
What's that?
Debt. Like so
Yeah.
many people were talking about how easy credit and inflation.
Are fueling the cycle of endless payments.
Exact.
And it's true, like easy credit can make it so tempting
Overspend.
to overspend, yes. And then inflation comes along and just eats away at your
Purchasing power.
right.
So it's like you're constantly trying to catch up.
And it's a really tough cycle to break out of.
It is. So it's like if the American dream is becoming this subscription service,
Yeah,
is there any way to like rewrite the terms and conditions?
right.
Or are we all just
Stuck.
stuck? Yeah, like on this treadmill of
Endless payments.
endless payments.
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is, and is one that we're going to explore in more depths in the next part of this deep dive.
Absolutely. We'll be right back after the break. That's the million-dollar question, right? But you know what gives me hope is that the Reddit thread wasn't just complaining.
Right.
People were actually like brainstorming solutions.
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
Like actually trying to figure out how to push back.
Exactly. It's like, okay, we see the problem.
Yeah.
Now what can we do about it?
I love that so much. And I think that's what's so great about these deep dives.
Yeah.
It's not just about like wallowing in the,
In the negativity.
yes, in the negativity. It's about finding that agency,
Absolutely.
like that power to shape our own futures.
Right.
So let's dig into those solutions. So we talked about conscious consumption,
Mm-hmm.
like really being intentional with our money.
Making conscious choices about what we buy and what we subscribe to.
Yeah, like hitting that pause button
Yeah.
on that constant urge to upgrade and subscribe to everything.
Exactly.
So it's not about deprivation.
right.
It's about asking ourselves, do we really need this?
yeah. Like, does this actually add value to my life?
Or is it just that like instant gratification thing?
Totally. And, think about your own subscriptions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, are you actually using all of them?
That's a good point.
Could you maybe replace some with free alternatives?
Ooh, or like borrow or share with friends.
Yes, exactly. Like, there are so many creative ways to get what you need without,
Breaking the bank.
and without feeling like you're constantly
Subscribing to everything.
And, every dollar that you're not spending on those unnecessary subscriptions,
Yeah.
it's a dollar that you can put towards your own version of the American dream.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, it's about reclaiming your spending power
Yes.
and using it intentionally
I love
to
that.
support the things that really matter to you.
And it's not just about saving money.
Right.
It's about that mindset shift.
Mm-hmm.
Like moving away from that constant chase for more
Yes.
and like finding contentment.
Yeah, like finding that sense of enoughness.
Yes, enoughness. I love that.
And, I think that really resonated with a lot of people in the comments.
Yeah, like what were they saying?
There was this yearning for deeper connections.
I like that.
Yeah, like a sense of community.
And like breaking free from that.
That hyper-individualistic consumerist culture.
That could be so isolating.
Yeah, exactly.
Which brings us to community action.
yeah.
There were so many cool ideas in the thread,
Oh, yeah.
like starting community gardens,
Sharing tools and resources.
supporting local businesses.
It's about creating those real-life connections.
Yeah,
And fostering a sense of interdependence.
like recognizing that we're not in this alone.
Exactly. We can achieve so much more when we work together.
And imagine like a neighborhood
Yeah.
where people are sharing their lawnmowers and their gardening tools.
Instead of everyone buying their own.
Yeah, it's like back in the day.
Right.
Like when people actually talked to their neighbors.
And helped each other out.
Yes. And it's not just about saving money. It's about,
Building community.
yes, it's like rebuilding that social fabric,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that our well-being is interconnected.
Absolutely.
And when we support local businesses,
Yes.
we're not just getting goods and services.
Right.
We're investing in our neighbors,
Creating jobs.
fostering a sense of local pride.
Yeah, it's about shifting our economic power away from
Those massive corporations.
that often prioritize profits over people.
Exactly. So we've got mindful spending, sustainable living, community action.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not forget about the big picture stuff.
Right.
Like the systems and policies that are shaping our lives.
Absolutely.
This is where political engagement comes in.
Yes. We can't just keep putting Band-Aids on these bigger societal problems.
Exactly. We need to address the root causes.
The policies that perpetuate wealth inequality,
Yeah.
the systems that prioritize corporate profits over human well-being.
Right. And the comments were full of calls to like demand better policies
Yes.
from our elected officials.
Like policies that support workers' rights.
Mhm. Affordable housing.
Accessible education.
Yes. Like things that actually make a difference.
And it's easy to feel like our individual voices don't matter.
Oh, yeah.
But that's exactly what those in power want us to believe.
Right.
The truth is, we have more power than we realize.
Especially when we come together.
Exactly. Collective action is key.
So how do we do that? Like, what are some concrete steps?
Well, it starts with educating ourselves.
Okay.
Like, what are the issues that matter to us?
Yeah.
Follow organizations that are doing the work on the ground.
Hmm.
Stay informed about local and national politics.
Okay, so stay informed and then what?
And then don't be afraid to contact your elected officials.
Like actually call them?
Yes. Call their offices, send emails, attend town hall meetings.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Let them know what matters to you and hold them accountable.
Hold them accountable. I like that.
Yeah, it's about making sure our policies reflect our values.
And creating a system that works for everyone.
Exactly. Not just a select few.
And I know this can feel daunting.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, it's easy to get discouraged.
But change doesn't always happen in a straight line.
That's true.
There will be setbacks. There will be moments of frustration.
But don't give up.
Don't give up hope. Every action we take, no matter how small, it ripples outward.
Oh, that's good.
And it contributes to a larger movement for change.
I love that. And, it's like planting seeds
Yes.
for a future where the American dream isn't paywalled,
Right.
but accessible to everyone.
Regardless of their background or zip code.
I love that. And it might sound idealistic, but I truly believe
You too.
that a more equitable and sustainable future is possible
Absolutely.
if we dare to dream big
Yes.
and work together.
Together, we can make it happen.
Okay, so we've talked about the challenges and we've brainstormed some solutions,
Yeah.
but now let's get practical. Like, what can we actually do?
Right. Let's turn those ideas into action.
Yeah, so let's start with mindful spending,
Okay.
because I think that's something that we can all,
Yeah, we can all control
control.
our own spending habits.
Yeah, so it's not about like, never buying anything fun.
Right.
It's just about being more intentional.
Exactly. Like before you click buy or sign up for that new subscription,
Yeah.
just take a moment and ask yourself,
Do I really need this?
yes, will this actually make my life better?
Or am I just like,
Chasing that dopamine hit.
yes, that's
All
all
the in the world.
we're all guilty of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it's about becoming aware of those patterns.
And like breaking free. And
Exactly.
so I've been trying to be more mindful of my own spending.
Yeah. What have you been doing?
Well, like instead of always buying new clothes,
Mm-hmm.
I've been checking out like thrift stores and online marketplaces.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, you can find some amazing deals. And it's so much more sustainable.
Yes. What about you? Do you have any like go-to strategies?
Oh, yeah, for sure. One thing I've been doing is setting a monthly fun money budget.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, so it's like a set amount that I can spend guilt-free
Okay.
on whatever I want, like a concert or a nice dinner or a weekend trip.
I love that.
Yeah, it really helps me avoid those impulse purchases throughout a month.
Because, you have that fun money set aside.
Exactly.
That's so smart. And speaking of sustainability,
Yeah,
that's another key part of rewriting the American dream.
absolutely. It's about creating a future that doesn't rely on endless consumption.
And like destroying our planet.
Right. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming.
No.
You can start with small changes in your daily life.
Like what kind of things?
Well, like, can you walk or bike instead of driving sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Can you bring your own reusable bags and containers?
Yeah.
Can you support businesses that are prioritizing sustainability?
Those are all great ideas. And, it's like the small changes.
They add up.
They do. And it's not just about our individual actions either.
Right. We need to come together as communities.
Yes. Like, remember all those cool examples from the Reddit thread?
Oh, yeah, the community gardens, the tool sharing, the local businesses.
Yes. It's about fostering that sense of connection.
The interdependence.
Yeah, like recognizing that we're not in this alone.
Exactly. We're all in this together.
And imagine like the neighborhood
Yeah.
where people are sharing their lawnmowers and their gardening tools.
Instead of everyone buying their own.
It's like bringing back that old school sense of community.
I love that idea.
And when we support local businesses,
Yes.
it's not just about getting a product or service.
Right.
It's about investing in our neighbors,
Creating jobs.
supporting our local economy.
Exactly. And shifting our economic power away from those massive corporations.
Okay, so we've got mindful spending, sustainable living, community action,
Hmm.
but we can't forget about the big picture.
The systems.
Yes, the policy.
The political engagement.
This is where we really need to step up.
Absolutely. We can't just sit back and complain.
Right, we need to make our voices heard.
And it starts with educating ourselves.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Follow organizations that are doing the work on the ground. Stay informed about what's happening in our communities and in our government.
Okay, so stay informed, and then what?
And then contact your elected officials.
Okay.
Call them, email them, attend town hall meetings.
I feel like a lot of people are scared to do that.
I know it can feel intimidating,
Yeah.
but trust me, it makes a difference.
Okay, so we need to speak up
Yes. Make sure our leaders know what we care about.
and hold them accountable.
Exactly.
And I know this can feel like a really long and slow process.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But change doesn't happen overnight,
It takes time and it takes effort.
and a lot of persistence.
Absolutely.
But I think it's worth it,
Me too.
because we're talking about creating a future
Yeah.
where the American dream is actually attainable for everyone.
That's the goal, right?
It is, and it might sound idealistic, but I really believe
Me too.
that it's possible.
We just have to keep working at it.
Yes. And if you're feeling inspired and you want to learn more,
Yes.
I highly recommend checking out Shauna Polage's YouTube channel.
She's amazing.
She's got so much great information on sustainable living and community building and activism.
She's a true inspiration.
And of course, if you enjoyed this deep dive,
Yeah.
make sure you hit that subscribe button and share Voices of the Soul with your friends.
Spread the word.
Yes, because these conversations are so important.
Absolute. They're how we spark change.
So thank you for joining us on this journey.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
And remember,
Well,
the power to rewrite the American dream lies within each of us.
So let's go make it happen.